Guys, like the way I would describe this is how we all started in business. We're what's called crankers, meaning the machine didn't run on fuel. It ran by horsepower. Like we were physically cranking that thing to get it going. And this machine I'm talking about with the crank is your business. Like you're all starting that way and you're just having to crank away on this thing. And then most of you, right? Most of you are still stuck in that position. You've been there for 20 or 30 years. Like this thing does not go without me freaking sitting here day after day after day. And then we want to scale. Oh my God, this opportunity did come up. We could get 3,000 more acres, 4,000 more acres. But when we don't have the systems and the structure in place for the machine to run itself, we're sitting there and we're trying to crank away on another 3,000 acres, another 4,000 acres, spend more time. And then how many dollars are ending up in your bank account with that strategy, Josh?
Not very many.
No, not jack shit. Not getting anything from it. Versus, how do I find profitability? How do I make sure that I get a system and a structure put in place to where I can now fuel this thing? The machine runs itself and it runs on top of the structure and the systems I have in place. We can scale off of that now. Okay, but Ty, this kind of leads us straight into talking about working in the business versus working on the business. So what are you kind of seeing from this?
I don't know, having some more systems in place, but that's where I don't know where to go with this, because when you've built it and you know your cash flow, you know where you're at, and you know that to keep this family going, you're not making enough. We don't have an extra 40, 50,000 to hire somebody at the end of the day. So how do you transition from being the one who does it all, absolutely everything constantly, to transitioning over to keeping up with all your books, keeping up with all your just everything you have to keep the business going right. The money we lose, I know, it's what's the thing that sucks the most about it, the money we lose by not keeping up with some of that. There's money there that's been lost. How do you put a number on it, though? And I don't know. I don't want to have to work like we have the last 3 months forever. We finally took some time off over the weekend, and it's really the first vacation our family's had, and all it was is drive 200 miles to the river and the waterfall and drive home. And that was the first vacation we've had in 8 years. And I don't want that anymore. I want to transition this into where I have people to help work and I'm running the business. I don't mind work. I love working outside, but I also want to keep up on the day-to-day books, the knowing where we are, keeping up with the agronomy stuff, and just everything else that we're doing. The cattle, I haven't hardly had time to do any marketing on cattle. The one side of everything that I like more than anything, I just haven't had time to do it.
Yeah. Because you're stuck doing what?
The day-to-day monotony, $20 an hour work. Yep. Turning the crank.
I'm just cranking this bitch. I'm just trying to get this thing moving forward.
Yeah.
Just where we want to go. And bank calls, hey, we need our interest payment. Just crank faster.
Yeah, that's right. And that's
do this thing.
The only way I know. And it sucks.
100%. Okay, so what happens? That's a question for you. What happens when you try to instill structure and systems on top of a broken machine?
They fail.
It's not going to work, period.
No.
Right? So like Josh, for example, if he tries to put structure and systems on top of his farm operation or his cattle operation, what will ultimately happen?
He'll lose them.
They'll fail, right?
Yeah.
Versus, let's look at his repair business. If we put structure and systems on top of that repair business, what would happen?
He could scale it up.
He could fuel it.
Yeah.
Because that machine works.
Yeah.
Right. So it doesn't matter where you want to, it doesn't matter what systems, what processes, it doesn't matter if you want to work on the business. You can't, if your business is a broken machine, it doesn't matter. working on it is pointless. So like Josh, for example, Josh, the repair business, man, that's a machine that you can take and you can run with, and it'll run by itself. And Josh puts in some fuel. He establishes the system. He does the unsexy work. He does the grunt work of typing out workflows for everything and really automating the hell out of this thing. And then all you do is you just put fuel in it, and it just goes, and it just continues to go. And every year, Josh is working in the shop 1,000 hours. He's still making over 100 grand a year. Could your family live on 100 grand a year, Josh?
Probably.
Yeah. You're probably living on a hell of a lot less than that right now, just with losses and everything.
Yeah.
100 grand a year would be pretty good. And having all your time back. So Ty, the hard truth, man, is like, is the machine that you're currently cranking, is it broken or is it functioning?
No, there's pieces that are broken, but how do you work on it when you're still working in it?
Okay, if you have to work, but see, and that's the difference though. The reason, like, there's this time gap here, okay? Getting Josh from where he's at right now to doing 2,000 hours in the shop, taking home 150K, and working on a machine that's profitable, that generates him a positive result inside of his bank account. Now, once he gets to that point, he can hire a person to come fill in all the legwork there. He's still going to get to the same endpoint, but now he's paying somebody else $50,000, right, to handle all the legwork that goes up inside of that machine, to sit there and kind of start cranking it a little bit to keep it going, so that he can step back and really look, okay, how do we build the systems here? What are the foundational things we need to get in place so I can turn this thing from a hard crank into an actual fueled machine?